Hello and welcome to another episode of A Sky Full of Stars. The decision has been made. We are going after Korona. Let's see how it goes exactly. How this relationship might develop. I told Korona that I would meet her in the afternoon, because that's when I don't work. I apparently work in the morning and in the evening. Afternoon, free. On that day at least. There wasn't anywhere in particular to go, so we just decided that she would come over to my place.
空見くん、そろそろ上がる時間でしょ？これ、いつものだから。
The manager showed me a basket with all the food items that we were getting rid of. Interesting. Thank you! I imagine that's how it would be as well. Like, if I were to run my own shop. Food is going to be expired, just take it home. Right?
ただ捨てちゃうのももったいないしね。私らもお昼はいつもこれだよ。
Correct approach. Correct approach. I honestly don't understand the stores which would be like, yeah, this is expired. Or about to be expired, so let's just throw it away. It's so ridiculous. Anyway. I could imagine that they did it every day, but they did it the leftover items quite often. It was safe to say that it was just something that convenience store managers did.
好きなの選んでいいよ。おすすめは新製品のあったかけんちんうどんだね。
Okay, I'll give it a try. I grabbed the udon, but she had recommended as well as a couple of rice balls.
小太郎が騒がしいね。
Oh.
ちょっと見てきてくれるかい？
I guess Korona has arrived. Sure.
やだ、ワンワンしないでよ。コロナ美味しくないってば。
Kotaro was wagging his tail back and forth, clearly looking for somebody to play with him. The moment Korona saw me, she ran around to hide behind me. Oh, come on, boy, calm down. I bent down to pet Kotaro until he stopped barking. He seemed satisfied after receiving a bit of attention and finally settled down. Oh boy. Kotaro just wanted you to play with him. I didn't realize you weren't good with dogs. Actually, I did realize the previous time you were around, but you know. She'd probably had a bad experience with a dog that hadn't been tied up in the past or something. I had that too. It was family dog as well. He literally, when I was playing football, and well, let's say drop the ball into his area, he would chase after it like crazy for forever. But yeah, I was playing football in the garden or whatever, and he jumped over the fence, toppled me down, and went for the ball. That was a bad experience. Yeah. Then again, I probably am still a little bit wary of bigger dogs though. Anyway. Also, second experience with dogs. When I was playing football. Great, we are also once again like drifting off the game. But let's go with it. I was playing football in a club, right? I remember during one of the trainings there was like a pit bull or whatever out of nowhere running around, right? And of course, again, that one was also after trying to chase the balls. I don't know, we were doing some kind of drill, whatever. And that bastard, while I kicked the ball, like literally smashed into my legs. I did a flip and so on. No, but I did like... I was sent flying a little bit into the air. Which is hilarious. Luckily enough, nothing happened for. Anyway. Bad experience, yes. Also probably why I don't like breeds like pit bulls and so on. Anyway, I'd heard that people who hate dogs usually had some kind of traumatic experience that triggered it. She's more afraid than hates, to be honest, but... If Kotaro scares you that much, you should head inside.
コロナもそのつもりだったよ。でもあの猛獣と目が合っちゃって。お
Let's go inside.
こんにちは、おばちゃん。はい、こんにちは。
I'm going to clock out now that Korona is here, if that's alright.
お疲れ様。次は夕方だから、それまで自由にしていいよ。
I grabbed the food I'd taken from the basket a minute ago and headed up to my room. Korona stopped to buy a pork bun and followed me up. Go ahead and hang your coat over there.
Hi.
Korona grabbed a hanger while I switched on the heater under my table. Give it a minute and it will be nice and warm. Why are you in your school uniform? She was already sitting down with her legs shoved underneath the blanket. I feel a little bad after making you come all the way over here, but why? But do I have time to eat real quick? She was passing the steaming pork bun from hand to hand, waiting for it to cool a little. Let's eat that. Itadakimasu. I tossed the udon I'd taken to the microwave and started to on my rice balls while I waited for it to heat up. She was in the middle of her own pork bun, but she seemed more interested in my rice balls. This one has polo crew and mayonnaise. Half of yours is too much, come on, I'll just take a bite. Negotiations finished. I tore off half my rice ball and handed it to her. She hurriedly popped the whole thing into her mouth. Just a bite then. I hesitated for a second. I wonder if I should take a bite from where Korona already did, or if I should take one from somewhere she hadn't touched yet. The meaty insides were too tempting. I went for the spot she'd already eaten from. Korona noticed what I had done. Wait, sorry, was that not okay? I was very apologetic as I handed the pork bun back to her. I knew she would say that. I just knew she would either say or think that. She looked rather delighted as she let out a giggle. I mean, come on, it's clearly obvious that she was after you from the very beginning, let's face it. She made the issue of taking another bite from where I'd taken mine. It's not like there was really anything there, but it was just the thought of it. Oh, it must be a Japanese thing, to be honest. Because never in my life, in this crappy country of Poland, has anyone thought, oh, indirect kiss, after biting into food or whatever. Anyway, it's funny. I finished up the rest of my rice balls and my udon, and our conversation shifted to the reason Korona had came over. So, should we discuss what you wanted to talk about today?
Hi.
Did it get like kind of...
Hi.
It kind of lagged, didn't it? Anyway, we should get started before our full stomach started making us sleepy.
昨日あの後お母さんと話をしたんだ。明光学院にしたいって言ってみた。そしたら OK してくれたよ。
Nice. See, I see. So, this is what you want to do?
明光か聖戦にしなさいって言ったのはお母さんだけど、見学していい学校だと思ったし、あそこに入りたいなって。
Korona had made her own decision. There was no reason to object, so I approved of her choice as well. So, what did you say about the Astronomy Club?
それなん
Corona's expression turned cloudy. I told you yesterday too, you don't have to feel obligated to join.
そうじゃないの。ただね、コロナなんかじゃ迷惑かなって。
Okay, you can totally hear them taking care of grass, don't you? God damn it. It's that time of the year. Freak it. I'll fry inside here, but whatever. At least there will be no sound. Of course you wouldn't get in the way. Nobody has had a problem with you tagging along before. She wasn't even a student at one of the 6 schools that made up the club, yet she'd been accepted as Meriope. I was pretty sure that it had been Orihime's decision.
むつら星のみんなを見ててね、すっごく楽しそうだなって思ったの。コロナもあんな風になれたらいいなって思った。でもね、なんか違うんだ。
What do you mean?
この前見せてもらった星は綺麗だったよ。すっごく感動した。また見たいって思ったよ。でもね、そこから先の自分がイメージできなくて。
I see. I finally understood what she was getting at. At some of the schools there were a few people that were members of the astronomy club, but only really came to the big events or observations. Korona was a lot like that right now. Do you feel pressure from Orihime? When she gets serious about something, she can lose sight of the things around her. It was one of her best traits, but it also had its negatives. Onoka did a great job of backing her up, but there were a lot of people who couldn't keep up with her. That's true.
姫ちゃんの気持ちは嬉しいんだよ。コロナに優しくしてくれたし。
That's true, but honestly, I don't see it as a bad thing when it comes to Orihime. Anyway. I'm sure that Korona wanted to pay her back for her kindness, but she probably wasn't sure that she could keep up with Orihime's fast pace.
コロナ、姫ちゃんをがっかりさせたくないよ。
I feel like you wouldn't. I feel like just the fact that you put effort would be good enough for her. Anyway. I was sure that Orihime would never be disappointed with Korona. I just didn't know how to make Korona realize that. Do you know Noriko? She goes to Amahai with Hikari.
のりちゃんのこと知ってるけど。
She doesn't know all that much about the stars either. She's still helping us a lot as a member of the Six Stars Club for.
詳しくなくても、すっごく星のこと好きなんだよね。
Yeah. It means you don't need to hold back just because you don't know a lot. As long as you don't hide the stars, Orihime would never be disappointed.
そっか。
Korona, do you like the stars?
どっちかっていうと好き。その好きも生まれたてのちっちゃなものだけど。
Well, the Six Stars Club loves to help those small feelings grow into something bigger. We care a lot about people like you, Korona. Helping the love of the stars grow. Expanding the circle of friends who had a passion for astronomy. Creating a place for friends to do activities related to what they love. Those were all Orihime's ideals, the same ideals that had brought the Six Stars Club back.
アキ兄もコロナがいた方が嬉しい？
Of course.
じゃあ、コロナも星のことを続けてみようかな。
I don't know what would happen in the future, but I was sure she would fall more in love with the stars. I couldn't imagine any other outcome with the people who were already part of the group.
と、まだ名校に受かってないのに、天文部のこと話してもしょうがないか。
That's true. I mean, but with her supposed absolutely amazing results. Easy. I suppose you're right. I guess we both got a little ahead of ourselves. How is the studying going? Are you doing alright?
試験本番まで1ヶ月切っちゃったからね。あとはとにかく頑張るだけって感じかな。
I'd heard that her grades were pretty good. They were plenty high enough to be accepted, The only thing left was how well she did on the test. Funnily enough, over here, I don't know now, to be fair. I don't know now, but when I was in school, it was grades. They don't matter in the end. Just do on the test. On the final test, final exam. That's the only thing that matters. Grades? Who cares about that? Honestly. Kinda annoying, but at the same time, well, whatever. At least that way, the people who like had high grades, despite mostly cheating, would not rate high anyway. Which is a good thing. Anyway. If that's the case, maybe you should take a break and give your mind some time to relax a bit.
コロナもそう思う。プレッシャーには強い方だと思うんだけど。やっぱり時々ここの辺りがグワーってなるんだ。不安でたまらなくなって眠れなかったり。
Understandable, yeah.
気分転換しなきゃって思うんだけど、なかなかそうもいかなくって。
Let's take her for a stargazing. Come on.
ねえ、アキにいい気分転換ってないかな？
Stargazing, of course! It sounded too simple, but I couldn't help it. Looking at the stars always helped me relax. It seemed like pretty good proof that it worked.
アキに、それうちのお母さんにも言える？
You don't think she'd let you?
絶対無理。この前だって学年トップになったら行かせてくれるって条件でなんとか OK もらったんだし。
Top of the class! She had just said it offhand, but I was surprised that she could be top of her class. Why? We know she's good.
星を見るのって夜でしょ？ちょっとなら平気だけど、何度も遅くなると外出自体を禁止されちゃう。
That wouldn't be good. I could easily imagine her mom doing that to her for... There was no way she'd win an argument with her mom. What about going to the planetarium then?
お金かかるよ。何度も行けるところじゃないって。
I'll take you. Something that didn't cost money could be done in time that was good at relieving stress. If there was something that filled those conditions, if you want to know about it too.
それにね、コロナは勉強から逃げたいわけじゃないんだ。今は勉強しなきゃいけないから、気分転換だって言って勉強をストップさせたくない。勉強をしながらストレス解消できるといいんだけど。
What a workaholic. It sounds like something a company would say to exploit their employees. Definitely. It's not something they'd say. They say that.
コロナは学校行って勉強してるんだよ。
Okay, you are a little bit different than me then. Totally, when I had all the grades already knocked out of the park, everything completed, I was not going to school anymore. Actually, no, different way. In high school, I stopped going. That's true, when I had everything, you know, confirm, you graduate and so on. Just the finals in front of you. I'm not in school anymore. I was totally going to school until the very end in middle school for it. Middle school was great. Like, I loved people there and so on. Anyway.
でもなんか殺伐としてて、勉強してても疲れるんだよね。
Obviously. Even more than at home.
家はもっときついかも。お母さんがセンサー働かせてるから。
That's ridiculous, not gonna lie. You can't keep this up forever, come on. Anyway, I could understand that she'd want her daughter to do well, but her excessive meddling was clearly having a negative effect. Despite all that, Korona still seemed to be handling herself rather well.
だから、一番勉強をはかどるのは夜中とか早朝とか、そういう変な時間だけなんだよね。
Late at night? Sounds like me. Early morning? Well, if I didn't go to sleep. And it wasn't just the looming test that was slowly chipping away at her sanity. I need to do something about this. How about you study here then? The idea just struck me and I offered.
ここってアキ兄の部屋いいの？
I don't mind. I'd have to make sure that it was okay with the manager for...
でもアキ兄がいると逆に緊張しちゃうかも。
I'm usually only here at night for most of the time I'm downstairs working.
つまり一人でここで勉強していいってこと？
Yeah, that's probably how it would work. What do you think?
それならお願いします。
We went downstairs and explained the situation to the store manager. So, I'd like to let her use my room as a kind of study room, if that's alright.
よろしくお願いします。
空見くんがいいなら私は構わないよ。ただし、使うときと帰るときは必ず誰かに報告すること。いいね。
わかりました。
じゃあ、後の細かい話はそっちでやっとくれ。ちゃんと責任持って面倒を見るんだよ。
My responsibility. Right, thank you, Mom.
一応、親御さんにはこっちから連絡しておくから、コロナちゃんは安心して受験勉強頑張んなさい。
The manager was amazing. She didn't just say it would be okay. She also offered to talk to Korona's mom. Korona was probably dreading that part, yeah. I don't expect to work as a store clerk for the rest of my life, but I did want to be the kind of person the manager was when I grew up. Yeah. I was hanging out in the astronomy room when Takechi suddenly showed up. Hey Taka, what you think here? For what? He held out a cup of curry noodles. Sure, just refill the water when you're done. It felt like it always did. It felt like it always did when he stopped by to eat before practice. How? How are you able to do that? I need like 3 hours at least. 3 hours. Without food before working out or anything like that. Takechi flipped the switch on the electric kettle and sat down to wait for it to boil. So, what's that? Takechi had 2 cups of curry noodles sitting in front of him. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking why you're making 2 of them. He turned the lid back on both them, meaning that the second one wasn't for later. What do you mean? Sorry, I should have told you about that.
そんなのはどうでもいい。あいつが受験でピリピリしてても、俺たちはどうにもしてやれなかったからな。ま、こいつはその例みたいなもんだ。
I see. In that case, don't mind if I do.
妹のこと、頼むな。
Dude, sounds like I'm marrying her already. The water had just started to boil. Takechi grabbed it and poured it onto the noodles.
それと、アキトなら大丈夫だとは思うが、一応言っとく。あいつ、まだまだガキだから、押し倒すような真似はやめてくれよ。
That hadn't even crossed my mind in the slightest! I hadn't really thought about it before Takechi mentioned it. No matter how little time I would be there, having an adolescent girl over for any significant length of time probably wasn't a very good idea, even though I was also adolescent and also... Whatever, I'll just shut up.
だろうな。あいつガキだし。
She's only 1 year younger for. Anyway, you shouldn't keep calling her that, you know. Korona doesn't like it very much.
ガキなのは事実だろうが。
I couldn't argue the point, so I just forced a smile.
まあ、あいつはガキで貧乳だから、巨乳派の空見先生が手を出すことはないって知ってるが。
Still better than a certain Amanogawa.
なんだ。油断してっとコロナがお前を押し倒すかもしれね
え。You're right.
万が一だ。一応気をつけとけ。
Yes, sir. We had a good laugh at that. There was no way Korona would do something like that. Or was there? But it was strange to think that someone had actually imagined it. If the store manager hadn't called her parents to let them know, there was a chance that things could have gotten complicated. I was riding my bike home when I got a message from Korona.
借りるね。
It seemed like she would go into my room before I arrived. I guess it would be a pain if she had to wait for me to be there, so the situation was probably for the best. I'm ready for work, ma'am!
ああ、空見くんおかえり。コロナちゃんもう来てるわよ。
Sure they sent me a text.
子供っぽいと思ってたけど、礼儀正しい子じゃない。
Well, yeah. Maybe it was because of how strict her parents were, but she did know how to be polite. She had really good grades too. Everyone thought more highly of her than I had expected.
うちの娘にも見習ってほしいもんだわ。
Miss Mikharu used to be such an upstanding person for. Now she was just a shadow of her former self. Still best girl. The fact that I knew how great of a teacher she used to be just made the feeling of disappointment that much stronger.
なんとかならないもんかね。
I gave out a sigh as well. I wondered if the day would come where she would be back to her old self. Well, we did learn why it all happened and so on. Anyhow, after that I threw myself into my work. Later in the evening we had a truck come for delivery, so I was busy helping unload it all. I got lost in work and completely forgot about Korona. Yikes.
空見くん、ちょっと。
The manager had come up to the register and called me over.
そろそろ時間でしょ。コロナちゃんの様子見てきてくれない？
When did it get this late? The manager had told me about Korona's curfew. She needed to be back home by 8 p.m. at the latest. I would know what hour it is if the clock, which right now we can't see actually because we are zoomed in, but if the clock on the wall was actually having indicators. But it doesn't have it. That's the problem. Anyway, apparently that had been her parents' terms. Dude, 8 p.m. is so early. I don't remember what my curfew was. I do remember always coming back after it for... Anyway.
バスの時間を考えるとあまり悠長にしてられないからね。
I guess I'll deliver her on a bike. I'll clock out now then. I took off my apron and headed up to my room. I slid the door open quietly and went inside. Korona was sitting at the table studying. Korona hadn't noticed me come in. She was focused intently on her books. It looked like she was working on math. The sound of her pencil scratching intently across the notebook sounded nice. Thinking about it, I realized that this was the first time I'd ever seen her studying. Now I realize how her grades are so high. Her level of concentration was almost scary. I suppose she had to be this focused to get her grades as high as hers for. Amanogawa's grades should be around the same level, but obviously they aren't. They are lower. Way lower. Yeah, I can't imagine Amanogawa at all looking this focused. I can't imagine her at all, to be honest. I smiled anxiously at the thought.
おきに、おかえりなさい。
Sorry, did I interrupt you?
そんなことないよ。
This should do math. Kind of looks like math. Anyway.
ってもうこんな時間なの？
The lights in the room were on, which meant she must have realized it was getting dark at some point. She had been really focused a minute ago for.
家に着く時間を逆算すると、バスの時間はこれだから。
She was checking the bus schedule on her phone. She'd only gotten the phone last Christmas, but she was already using it like a pro.
って迷惑だったかな？コロナ、そろそろ帰った方がいい？
No, we're fine. I was actually more worried about interrupting your concentration.
あきには家主なんだから、もっとドーンとしてていいんだよ。
Actually, the room wasn't really mine. I was just borrowing it. My position wasn't much different than hers.
もう少し勉強してていい？今いい感じに進んでるんだ。
Sure. I'll try to keep it down so I don't distract you.
ありがとう。それじゃああとちょっとだけ。
Korona went back to her studying. I thought she might slow down due to the interruption, but it didn't look like it had bothered her at all. She kept scratching away at the same pace as before. Maybe I'll read something. I had a book I checked out from the library a few days ago. I said to read it to kill some time. I didn't have much longer until I had to return it as well. I said I should probably finish it then. Oh boy. Oh boy. They will break the curfew one day. And done. Hey, when I looked up from my book, Korona was staring back at me.
秋にすっごく真剣だった。
Hey, did I? Probably not as much as you were.
その本、そんなに面白かったの？
To me, it's different than novel or comic for.
それどんな本なの？
It's about the Hubble Space Telescope.
ああ、前に秋兄が言ってたやつ。
I had mentioned it once before when I had been explaining the play at the Ichigo. Apparently she had remembered. About 30 years ago, there were two big projects in the United States. The first was the superconducting super collider, an enormous electron accelerator. The other was the HST. The Hubble Space Telescope, an extra-large refractive telescope that they launched into space. There was a going on back then in the US for... the SSC ended up getting cancelled in 1993. Sorry guys, I bet it's because I was born then.
ハッブルの方はどうなの？
The HST project managed to avoid getting cancelled. It did have quite a few setbacks and some budget problems for... And despite the huge amount of money they'd invested into the telescope, there was a flaw in the mirror that caused a problem with the focus.
それでアメリカはどうしたの？
They sent up a replacement mirror with space shuttle on the first servicing mission.
スペースシャトルってあのスペースシャトルだよね。すっごいな。
The scale of the project was huge, so her surprise was to be expected. Even people uninterested in astronomy could appreciate the grand scale of the project like this. The Hubble was an epoch-making endeavor. Even now, 30 years later, astronomy lovers were fascinated by it. After I got the lens up there on the space shuttle, astronauts had to personally do all of the repairs.
だよね。持っていくだけじゃダメだもんね。
Which makes you realize, like, if you are sent into space and so on, you need to know all your shit. Not only how to operate, but also how to repair and so on. Damn. Certainly needs to be a qualified person. That shows you how much the Hubble Space Telescope was worth fixing. The Hubble Telescope made it possible to see things in space that you couldn't from the surface due to the atmosphere and weather. It was an enormous reflecting telescope floating in space. The fact that the fundamental principle was no different from the reflecting telescopes we used was kind of romantic.
星を見るのもいろいろなんだね。
The desire to see more, better, further, to see what can be seen with our eyes alone. That is why the dreams of an astronomer never end. You know what? You are kind of correct. My passion for this sort of thing could be considered too much. I just loved it so much. And I had nothing but respect for the great star lovers who had came before me. I wonder if the person who is behind, like, entire story of A Sky Full of Stars was also that much into astronomy and so on. Actually, the games delivered by Moe Novel in general, like, they are also all from Pooltop, I believe. Maybe not all, but I think some of them are also, at least one of them. Like, If My Heart Had Wings, I think... Okay, maybe this is not about astronomy, actually. Okay, this is glider flying or something like that. Okay, for a second I thought maybe, you know, it's also about astronomy and so on. Hehe. But what I'm curious about is if the person behind the entire story is also into that sort of thing. Would be interesting. Anyway, and I had nothing but respect for the great star lovers who had come before me.
コロナにはよくわかんないけど、よかったね、アキニ。
Why are you glad for me?
今のアキニ、すっごく楽しそうだったよ。そのバカ野郎の一人みたいに目をキラキラさせてさ。
I see. If that's the case, then you saw a rather embarrassing side of me. This wasn't really a side of me that I showed to people very often. Did I really look like I was enjoying myself that much when I was talking about the Hubble Space Telescope with her? Was I annoying you with my talk?
全然、すっごく楽しかった。
That wasn't just flattery. Korona was being sincere. I could tell because her eyes had been sparkling a little as well as she listened to me talk. And apparently I'd shown her how exciting it could be to talk about astronomy as well.
また次もこういう話を聞かせてよ。
Sure. That sounds like a good change of pace for you too.
アキニ、今日はいろいろありがとう。
It was time to head home, so we were waiting at the bus stop.
明日もまた来ていいかな。
That's fine. You did seem to have made good progress with your studies today.
お母さんにちゃんと報告しとくね。すっごく勉強に集中できたよって。
That would help. I feel like she might get suspicious.
疑われるって何が？
Suspicious that you're only coming over to hang out and not getting any studying done. I decided not to mention anything about the issues surrounding her being a girl. I didn't want her to start feeling weird about it.
ああ、お母さんそういうとこあるから。
It's easy for others to keep a watchful eye on my room as well.
信頼を裏切らないよ。勉強頑張るよ。
The bus pulled up. If she missed this one, she wouldn't make it home in time.
それじゃあ、キニ、コロナもう行くね。バイバイ。
Bye bye. She waved her hand enthusiastically as she got on the bus. She continued waving after she found a seat as well. I waved back until the bus had pulled out of sight.
それでは、第1回むつら星定例会を終了します。
Too light of a screen. Anyway. With that little endeavor, let's end this episode. We'll of course continue tomorrow. We'll see where this is going. We'll see how Korona studies go and so on and so on. Hopefully good. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode. Consider liking it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe of course. We need to grow this place. Really. We need to reach the top of visual novel YouTube channels or something. Maybe. Probably will never happen. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you tomorrow too. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.